Hi and welcome to In Focus. I'm Loretta Boniti. North Carolina has the dubious distinction of being in the top 10 when it comes to human trafficking. The good news is that from organizations to individuals, many people are fighting this problem, all with the same goal, trying to eradicate it. Everyone from law enforcement to lawmakers to nonprofit organizations are creating coalitions, but all are coming at it from unique approaches and with different ideas of how to solve this problem.
We were looking for a total of $20,000.
The Lily Pad Haven team discusses a future fundraiser in a basement office.
We have a new employee starting on Monday, new house coordinator.
The location we can't reveal in order to protect the people they serve.
The traffickers, they don't want to lose their moneymaker. You know, they will come after and get them.
Safety is just one of the many issues this team tackles with women who move into their safe house.
Sex, money, and drugs. Sex, money, and drugs. A non-stop thing.
Victims of human trafficking who've been sold for sex against their will.
When you think of human trafficking, you're like, oh, that's on the other side of the earth. Oh, that's, you make these assumptions, but it is right here.
Right here in North Carolina, which is consistently ranked in the top 10 states for human trafficking, and more of those crimes happen in Charlotte than any other city in the state.
There are a number of reasons that North Carolina does have a trafficking problem.
Our international airports, interstate system, and East Coast location make getting victims here and moving them around easy.
We're also kind of a middle ground in between Miami and New York, where you have a lot of victims, a high concentration of victims, and we're kind of that middle point.
Shauna Pagano is part of a statewide initiative studying the scope of the issue in North Carolina, looking for data at this point we just don't have.
Last year they had a suspected 181 cases of North Carolina, but I can tell you we've got a lot more than that.
That's something On Eagle's Wings Ministries knows all too well. Their safe house for child survivors has to turn away, on average, 7 girls each week.
Our children are coming from a place where they're being sold and bought for sex. It is absolutely traumatic to think about 10 to 40 times a day on average.
The ministry works with the girls to help them heal and move forward. Teens make and sell bath products through the organization to start saving money for their futures.
It's just the darkest of dark place that they've come through, and we want to give them light.
A light they've lived without for far too long. For In Focus, I'm Jenna Barnes.
Today we are going in focus on the topic of human trafficking and the ongoing efforts being taken to combat what some people are calling an ugly form of modern-day slavery. This is a tough battle for law enforcement advocates and policymakers. And that's where we're going to start our conversation today. Joining us now is North Carolina State Representative Bill Brawley of Mecklenburg County. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So, Representative Brawley, it's no secret you're normally a numbers guy. We talk to you about taxes most of the time. That's what you're known for up at the General Assembly. You were the primary sponsor on a bill this year dealing with this human trafficking issue. Why? Why is this an issue you've decided to take on?
You're right. It's so out of character for me. I had heard several presentations, including some of the groups that were in your news lead-in. In commercial real estate, I realized as I learned more about it that I had seen human trafficking and not recognized it in some properties where I was involved in the transitions. Some people came to me and asked for help, and I agreed to take something on, put together a group of legislators, and we began to study the idea. We drafted a bill, filed it, and immediately discovered that there were a lot of people that thought we were doing it wrong. So I'm continuing to work on this issue. The thing that I would say is everything in the lead-in is true. I think there are a lot more people that are victims than we know. It is an incredibly dark place. A lot of people hate it, they're against it, but they don't want to get involved in doing something about it. So I have some meager ability to get bills passed that actually accomplish something, so I've started working on it. I've been disappointed that we didn't make more progress, but I'm not discouraged. And I'm hopeful that we'll have a study group over the interim that we can pull people in from across the state, have conversations, and start building a consensus.
Do you think most people are aware? I mean, we started with that statistic that North Carolina ranks in the top 10 for human trafficking states in the United States. Do you think that most people are aware of how bad it is in our state?
Not only are they not aware, but they don't want to believe it when you tell them. And we don't know how bad it is. However, I would say 186 women being held against their will managed to get enough freedom and access to a phone to call for help. How many didn't try? How many were afraid to try? I don't think the number is anywhere near as low as 186. I would suspect that there are more than that in Mecklenburg County alone.
Is this something that the state should be making a priority?
Let me answer that question this way. If Boko Haram, who seized 800 girls in sub-Saharan Africa, seized 800 women in North Carolina and carried them off into sexual slavery, what would we do as a nation? We would send the 82nd Airborne, the U.S. Marines, SEAL Team 6, whatever it took to get them back. We have the equivalent of people kidnapping hundreds of our citizens, forcing them into sexual slavery against their will. Why would we not take action to rescue them? Look, let's be blunt. There are a lot of men that are buying sex that believe or convince themselves that they are participating in a voluntary transaction. What they are actually participating in is rape. We have women that are being raped every day in North Carolina. Yes, I think it's the function of the state government to make that stop.
Really tough conversation to talk about, but there's a lot more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we return, raising awareness and education on this fight against human trafficking is a big part of the fight. What does that exactly entail, and what efforts are already being made? We'll continue our look at human trafficking